Welcome, fight fans, to another MMA Forum podcast. This week we got special guest, pro fighter Mark Abelardo. Just coming off a nice victory. He is on a 6-fight winning streak. Welcome, Mark. How's it going?
Hi, Gavin. Oh, it's good. Thanks for having me.
So, tell me about your fight last weekend. How did it go? I was looking for a video online, but I couldn't see any, unfortunately.
It was a good fight, a fast one though. I fought a tie with a record of 4-2. It was a bit of a striking match, and I overwhelmed him and took him out with a TKO first round.
Oh, very nice. I had a look at some of your previous fights. You certainly got a bit of aggression going in there, a bit more than the Thai guys, I'd say.
Yeah.
So, what made you move over to Thailand? You're a Kiwi, right?
Yes. I was born in New Zealand.
And did you not get inducted into the national religion over there, rugby?
I played a bit during school, but it just wasn't really my passion.
Hmm. So when did you start getting into fighting?
Um, Growing up as a kid, I'd always been into combat sports and watching martial arts movies. My father is a third-degree black belt in karate,
Okay.
and it wasn't until I was 17, he took me to the nearest MMA gym, and that was at Strikeforce, which was like 20 minutes away from my house. And yeah, I just haven't looked back. Fell in love with the sport.
Hmm. And at what point did you move over to Thailand?
I applied for the sponsorship around November 2013, and I got the thumbs up from Joel. It wasn't something I was expecting because I thought a lot of people would have applied. I was lucky enough to get a spot. And yeah, I flew out.
Joel is a Team Quest owner, by the way, in Thailand, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's correct. Yeah, and I flew out February 2014.
Right, so you're only there a year and two
Yes, it's
months.
been a year.
And what have you noticed? Like, what's been the difference? I guess MMA is not that established in New Zealand, so you probably got a better
Yeah,
standard of coaching and teammate up there.
yeah, it's a growing sport in New Zealand. It's definitely not as big as it is here in the Asian scene, but yeah, I felt like career-wise, I had to make the move out here and get some more fights and make a name of myself here in Asia.
Yeah, yeah. But did you get to train with Mark Hunt down in New Zealand ever?
Oh no, he was I believe he was at another gym. Um, yeah, and other than that, I think he trained in Australia at some point as well.
Yeah, I think he lives there, but
Yeah.
I would say he gets back to New Zealand a bit. He's pretty popular there.
Funny though, when I did first start training MMA, he did a seminar at my gym, and this was probably like the first month into my training there. That was pretty cool.
Cool. Yeah. So what kind of
Yeah.
stuff is he teaching?
Um, it wasn't really much of a seminar. He just came to train actually. He just jumped in BJJ class, rolled with us, showed us a few moves, and yeah, that was it. He was
Got
just
Garrett
being a
to do
normal
that.
person, I guess.
Got to
Yeah.
do that walk away knockout, did he?
No.
Yeah, that's a trademark. I love that about him.
Yeah.
So, your dad is from the Philippines, is he?
Yes, that's correct. Both my parents are.
Okay, so they must have moved. They moved over before you were born, right?
Yeah, it was in 1989. I was born in 91, so yeah, about 3 years before I was born.
Okay, so your old man got you into martial arts. Obviously, he's been doing what did you say was karate black belt?
Yes. He trained in the Philippines, and he got his black belt here there. And when he moved to New Zealand, he started up a chapter of Puma, which is Philippine Union Martial Arts, and
Mm,
started that in New Zealand.
cool. Sounds good. And I bet you'd like to be on the UFC Manila card. When is it? It's in a couple of months, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe it's in May.
Hey, do you
I'm
think?
not too sure the date of, but yeah, I'll be fighting. I believe I'll be fighting in PXC the week after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did you ever think about knocking on the UFC's door and saying, "Hey, yo, Filipino parents would love to fight on that card"?
Yeah, obviously UFC is the dream. That's the ultimate goal one day. But for now, I just want to keep making a name of myself here in the Asian scene. I'm lucky enough to be fighting for PXC, which is probably the biggest organization I've been signed to in my career. And I just want to keep fighting and just see what doors open up for me.
Yeah, I watched a good few of your fights, man, and was really impressed. You seem to have a
Thank you.
pretty good wrestling base as well. I guess you've been taking a lot of lessons up with Team Quest in the last year.
Yes, my wrestling has definitely improved since being here. Just training under Dylan Fussell, he's a really good coach. He's a world class coach.
Yeah, what was that guy? Paule guy fought? Is that his name?
Andre Paulo. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was actually a Commonwealth wrestler who made his transition to MMA. So I was going to that fight a big underdog. Everyone was expecting him to win. He was coming off like a 14-second knockout. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
man,
just,
the guy I was watching him. I mean, I'd never heard of him, but I could see he was a serious wrestler. But
yeah, that's for sure.
he looked pretty comfortable dealing with him. Like there's no, there was no stress really. It was like, okay, he's trying to take me down, and you're doing all the right things. He really didn't do too much. I didn't think, given his credentials. Commonwealth wrestler is pretty good.
Yeah, definitely is. I just stuck to my game plan, staying relaxed, fighting him on the feet, trying to prevent the takedown. He obviously got me down a few times, but I overcame the adversity and just used my experience
Yeah.
to my factor during the fight.
So what you think? What do you think is your best asset in there? You got a pretty nice left hook. I saw.
Yeah, definitely my striking game is my favorite.
Mm.
Because I came from a Muay Thai gym. It was primarily a Muay Thai gym back in New Zealand, so yeah, I prefer to strike.
Yeah, and I guess so. What's the training like up there in Team Quest? What's the standard day for you?
We're training 2 to 3 times a day. We have MMA in the morning from Monday to Saturday, and then we alternate uh, in the afternoons between Muay Thai and grappling. And sometimes we'll fit in a second training midday, which will typically involve strength and conditioning or sprints, that sort of thing.
Mm, interesting. And this guy Dylan Fussell, he seems to have be a big influence in that camp, Team Quest. Yeah.
Yes, yes, that's for sure.
But he came from Oregon, right?
Yes, I believe he was from the original Team Quest in Oregon and made the move here a few years back when Joel opened up. Um, yeah, I just guess he's been here since.
No, just watching your fights, I could see like the Team Quest stamp on the grappling. It was there, you know. It was like, and it probably gives you an edge in Asia over a lot of the other guys.
Yeah, ever since I've just been training here, I've really taken my MMA game to the next level, especially in the wrestling department and wall wrestling especially. That's really
Mm,
improved. And it's something that I lacked back in New Zealand just because uh, we didn't really have the teaching, the knowledge for that sort of thing.
yeah, the only grappling is in the scrum in New Zealand, pretty much, huh?
Yeah, yeah, you could say.
Yeah. So you said you got another fight coming up in a couple of months.
Yeah.
What's your
Nothing's confirmed yet.
what's your aim? Like, how many fights do you think you need to get the call from what's his name, Joel Silva?
I'm not too sure. I'm not in any rush to get into the UFC at this point. Right now, my main goal is to get that PXC title. That's the first thing on my mind ever since I got signed to them.
Mm. And yeah, well, I think you definitely got a good chance from the guys you were fighting. It seemed you were a couple of steps ahead of them. So is there anyone over there you think that could challenge you? You're bantamweight, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So
Um,
anyone you think can challenge you over there?
at this stage, I'm willing to fight anyone, but I really want that title, that PXC title. So hopefully one day, maybe get one more win under my belt, and then hopefully I'll get offered that title fight.
Yeah, I reckon so. I reckon it's coming. I hope a few of the listeners check out some of your old fights.
Yeah.
I was watching that one. What was the guy's name? Scotty. You fought a guy called Scotty.
Oh yes, I fought him at Pro FC in Taiwan last year.
Yeah, I felt pretty sorry for the guy, to be honest.
He's a tough guy.
Yeah, he's too tough for his own good. You could
Yeah,
have beat him around for 3 rounds, and he
yeah,
wouldn't go away.
definitely one of the toughest guys I've ever fought.
Yeah. So a few interesting things going on in MMA at the moment, especially the drugs stuff and new policies the UFC are bringing in, and a lot of people, famous people, getting popped. What is there? Is there
Yeah.
any sort of a scene with that in Asia, or do you think it's a lot cleaner than the West?
Um, I guess when you're at that stage, when you're at that elite stage of UFC, obviously there's going to be chances of that stuff happening. But whereas here in Asia, where we're still up and comers, we're more hungry. I don't think the steroid use would be seen here at all. Just because we're hungry and we want to make it to the UFC, that sort of thing.
Is there any in like Thai boxing? Is there any culture of steroids in there, or do you think most of the
Uh,
fighters?
no, I don't believe there is at all. A lot of these guys just train full on, and yeah, it's just pure skill for these Thai fighters.
Yeah, they seem to be. I think your edge might be you're a bit more aggressive than them. I notice a lot of the Thai fighters they take it a bit more composed.
Right.
Maybe in MMA you need that little bit of fire and aggression.
Yeah. I like to add a bit of pressure when I fight. Just I like to overwhelm my opponents.
Mm. Something I noticed with Munoz, guy from the Philippines, is he had that early on in his career, but his last few fights he seems to have lost it totally. That little spark of aggression. And
Right.
yeah, he announced actually his fight in Manila is going to be his last fight, win or lose. I think he's
Yeah, I
probably.
heard he's going to hang up the gloves after that. I believe.
Yeah, he is. I don't think his head's been in it for a while. He was talking before the Weidman fight. He did an interview, and this only came out like 5 days before the Weidman fight. He was saying how he'd been depressed and he'd been crying and stuff like this. And I
Yeah.
was thinking, man, that's not what you want to be saying a few days out before fighting Chris Weidman. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's for sure.
But no, he was a good fighter. But I guess a nice way for him to end his career over in Manila, huh?
Yeah, that's for sure. And his homeland, in front of all of his fans, should be good.
Yeah. So have you got any interesting stories from New Zealand? Starting off in MMA there, is it like you get chatting
Um,
between the rugby guys in the bar to see who's the toughest and whatnot?
um, I do have one story. I fought in a Pride Rules fight back in 2012.
Pride
It was
rules.
a yes, Pride Rules, and it was 10 minutes first round, same rules, but this time we added elbows, and
Added
yeah,
what?
we added elbows because that
Okay,
wasn't
yeah.
allowed. Yeah, and the person I fought was Caleb Lally, who was coincidentally my teammate here now in Team Quest Thailand.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a really tough fight. He's a really tough guy, but I managed to take out the win. Maybe about a minute or so to go in the second round.
Soccer kick to the head, was it?
Yeah, there was everything. Everything was involved. Sucker kicks, stomps, everything you can think of.
And
It's pretty crazy.
what about that PXC? What about that organization? They got any different rules that you got to contend with?
Oh no, I believe they have the unified rules, the same as the UFC.
Hmm. And did you ever think about doing any Thai boxing matches? I hear they like a good foreign fighter. The Thai.
Right? Yeah, it's quite big here in Chiang Mai. Um, right now, I don't have any plans yet for a Muay Thai fight. I've had two K1 rules fights back in New Zealand, two kickboxing fights.
Hmm.
Right now, my main focus is MMA.
Yeah, for sure. So, what else have you got going on over in Chiang Mai? Just training, eating,
Yeah,
sleeping?
right now, yeah, we're just on the grind. We're training 6 days a week, with Sundays off, and on that day we just make the most of it and just rest and recover for the next week.
You doing a lot of sparring?
Yes, we spar maybe 2-3 times a week. We alternate between big glove sparring and the small MMA glove sparring, so it's pretty good. We get a mix.
And what do you reckon about sparring or doing too much or too little, or what's your theory on that? Conor
Uh,
McGregor's been saying a lot lately, like he's reduced the amount of rounds he's doing. It's much more about
right.
movement and less about kicking the shit out of the guy and
Yeah.
making sure you're winning in training. What you
Yeah.
reckon?
I believe it's better to train smart rather than train hard. Um, when we do sparring, we don't spar to knock each other out. We spar to make each other better. If we see something that our training partners are doing wrong or something they could do better, we tell them straight away. And yeah, we just train to make each other better.
Mm. And bantamweight, you're going to stick at that weight, do you reckon?
Yeah, it's a good weight class for me. I've fought at 145 my whole career, so 135 is a really good move for me, and I'm just gonna keep fighting and see what else happens.
Yeah, yeah. Well, good luck to you. I hope you get into the. I hope you get a couple more victories and they come calling soon because I reckon you got the skills. What do you reckon about the fights this weekend? Any predictions? Anthony
Is
Pettis
that
versus
Anthony
Dos
Pettis?
Anjos?
I'm going for Anthony Pettis. I've been following him since the WC days, so I'm definitely going for him.
Yeah, he's awesome. I think it's gonna be very hard for Dos Anjos to deal with his kicks.
Right,
Uh,
yeah,
I reckon that you're either you don't know what to protect when you're fighting him, the leg, the body, or the head. And eventually he's gonna hit one of them really hard, put you down.
yeah. The thing about Anthony Pettis, he's a real unpredictable striker, so he can hit you from any angle and knock you out pretty much. So he's a tough
Yeah.
guy.
What do you reckon about Johnny Henderson, Matt Brown? I've got Matt Brown in that fight. Maybe just because I want to see him win, but
Right, yeah.
he
Uh,
could, he could become truly immortal if he does beat Johnny Henderson.
yeah, that's true. I'm going for probably Johnny Hendricks in this fight just because of the more wrestling-based fighting style he uses. I believe he's gonna take Matt Brown down and probably fight from there, edge out a decision.
Yeah. Yeah, he probably is going to look to take him down. I reckon Matt Brown's going to go in with a lot of violence in the first
Yeah,
round. Going to try and take him out. So yeah, I'm pretty sure. You saw that Hendricks sacked. Well, maybe not sacked him, but he's not using Dolce for this next fight.
oh no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he'd been using Dolce, and Dolce had come out after his previous fight, and he said, Hendricks is lazy and he eats too much, and he could be fighting at welter or lightweight and
Right.
stuff like that. And
Yeah,
Dolce charges $1,000 a day to
yeah, I've heard about that.
consult. So Hendricks has said that him and his wife buy all the food on a Sunday, prepare it for the
Right.
whole week. So I reckon that if Hendricks makes weight and he wins his fight, the Dolce diet is going to be a thing of the past. That's
Yeah,
thousand
that's for
dollar a
sure.
day fees will be gone. But I reckon if he doesn't make weight, Dolce we'll be seeing a lot of Dolce articles in coming
Yeah,
days.
yeah, I believe so too.
Yeah. So tell me a few stories about Thailand. There must be some madness up there.
Uh, in
Six or
Chiang Mai,
seven, 6 or 7 fighters. You guys live pretty close together, I'd say, right?
yeah, I live on site at the gym. We've got accommodation upstairs above the training grounds.
Yeah, it's only a
There's a few
hundred
of us.
bucks a month, right?
Actually, our accommodation is sponsored for the fighters. I'm not too sure how much the customers pay, but we do have paid for accommodation as well.
Well, that's pretty sweet, pretty sweet. What kind of bucks, if I'm allowed to ask, would the PXC be paying you for a standard fight?
Um, they pay in thousands, which is something I've never been paid before, so I'm more than happy to receive that amount.
Sorry, say that again.
It's in the thousands.
Thousands of dollars, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
nothing too much, but it's a lot for me at this stage of my career.
That's a
So I'm happy.
good for an up and comer, and I guess cost of living's pretty low in Thailand, so a couple of
Yeah,
grand
that's for
would
sure.
go pretty far.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, there must be some madness in up there now and again, right?
Um, Not so much in Chiang Mai because Chiang Mai is pretty far from all that partying scene down in the south of Thailand. Here in
Mm.
Chiang Mai, it's a lot more peaceful. It's a lot more, what would you say? A lot more with the arts and the sort of the peaceful tourism sort of thing. So it's actually quite mellow out here. I like it here.
Yeah, no, I never got up to Chiang Mai. I've been to a few spots in Thailand, but I must check it out. Be
Mm.
nice to go out there and just train for a couple of months and rent one of the
Yeah, for
rooms
sure.
and live
If
lean.
you want, if you want to focus on training, I recommend Chiang Mai. There's hardly any distractions here, so you can focus 100%.
Yeah, and there's only how many of you are in the Team Quest camp at the moment?
On the pro team, I believe we have, I think six. I'm not too sure, but in terms of the whole the gym itself, we've got plenty of customers coming in day in day out. So it's quite packed every day.
Mm. All right, so have you anything that you need to plug? Anything to advertise other than yourself? Soon to be a world champion.
Um, I'd just like to thank my sponsor, my supplement sponsor, More Life. They're based in Australia. They help me a lot with my weight cuts and all my recovery supplements to get through the day with training.
Mm.
Yeah,
All right, dude. Well, let me know when your next fight is coming up, and maybe there'll be a live stream, I guess, with
yeah,
people.
for sure.
Yeah, that'll be cool. So I'll check it out. I might even put a bet on you.
Hope to win them.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I'll tell you what I'll do. If you win your next fight by knockout, we'll give you I'll donate a $250 bonus to you.
Oh, no way. All
Yeah,
right, I guess it's on then.
yeah, it's on. So I'll be watching that stream live. I'll be covering that bet by various bets with bookmakers. So if you don't knock him out, I'll be covered. If you do knock him out, I'll be
All
covered.
right.
But
Promise not to let you down then.
yeah, no, it's all good. All right, Marco, thanks for joining me, and we'll be in touch again. We'll get you on in a few months, or maybe
All
when you get the call from Joe Silva, you'll come on again.
right. Thanks for having me, Gavin.
All right, buddy, take it easy. Adios.
Uh, See ya.